All right. So the good news is that this book has been and is being released in both the soft cover and the hardcover. And it's so funny. There's a tree on the cover, so you can actually knock on wood right there. We talked about how nice the hardcover is. But, the story is the same inside. And even though we want to be people that don't judge a book by the cover, we do judge books by the cover, don't we? So it's interesting. But I did want to ask you, Tonya, because this is the question that, as a writing instructor at Maryville College, I teach playwriting, and at Lincoln Memorial University in June, I teach playwriting, and I teach other workshops, children book writing workshops. And I often want to find out what a writer would say to another writer. Maybe those writers out there who haven't yet been published, and the only thing that's keeping them from getting that done is their own fear. Can you speak into, speak about the fear in young writers? You kind of had an inkling all along that you were heading toward that, didn't you? You kind of had an idea about that you were maybe a writer.
Privately, maybe. I think I do know that everybody has a story. Everybody has a story to tell. And just because our stories may have the same punchline, we have different aspects of it, different viewpoints on it. And I think that don't allow the negative voices to hold you back.
Oh my gosh, that's the main reason why people don't do what they're put here to do. We all have a purpose, every single one of us, and it looks different for everybody.
Absolutely. And I think that for me, it didn't matter that anybody would read it at first, because I just had to get the story down.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if the story just touches my family, then at least we can celebrate that. So look at that when you're thinking of writing, is know that you've accomplished it. I mean, it's very difficult to pursue something like this and stick with it and accomplish it, and then, have it written. And I would just say also to just continue down the path that you feel like you need to go once you've completed it. Be willing to take criticism from a trusted source, and Lisa is amazing at that, very encouraging and uplifting, and wants to help. And that was a big thing for me, getting it done. Having accountability helps. Being in the workshop, oh my gosh, I mean, I would work and work and work and work because I was not showing up to class without having something to write. And then you get into class and you can share it, and then or we did it on Zoom. But you read it, and then when you read it, it becomes to life. It's like the spoken word. And then also people have a chance to kind of give their input, and you have to be able to receive that. That's kind of your first out there, moment to say, okay, this is what came into my head and went onto paper. What do you think? And they're very, very sweet in how they know how difficult it is. So they're not going to be rude and ugly about it.
Well, I've been in some pretty harsh workshops. So you're experiencing something very blessed. But there are individuals that are bullies. The bully doesn't disappear in 8th grade.
It doesn't.
These bullies grow up and they get even more crafty with their bullying. So I just want to throw in there to you writers, don't share your story until it's done, because oftentimes some of the most challenging moments occur with the closest people to you, where you want so much to share them, but they don't know how to respond. A lot of people don't know how to be with a writer. But being a writer myself, helps me to guide other writers. And I'm not always great either, but
you give good direction though. And I will say on the backside of what you just said about sharing the story, be very selective. I mean, we shared it in the workshop and that was as far as it went, because anytime that I felt like I was sharing it with somebody, they either didn't understand it or they tried to give their input, and it really muddled up my brain. And so I was like,
Muddles up your
no, I
brain.
don't need this.
That's
So,
exactly right. It
mhm.
muddles up your brain. And as a writer, you don't need muddling. No muddling for the writer.
No.
I don't talk about my stories till they're done. I do not until they are done. The other thing is, the other reason for that is sometimes you get your good pats on the head
Mhm.
for that. And then that need's been met and the need to tell the story dissolves. And we don't want that. You want to keep the kettle hot, and you want to keep the cover on that hot pot and keep that story bubbling within. I have a good question for you.
Okay.
This is a children's book. It's not a picture book. It's what's called a chapter book. But being one now that writes for children, can you share with the audience, what is it that children need? What do they need?
Well, I believe that everybody, especially in their childhood, is looking for a place to belong, a place to feel loved and secure. And, if they're not getting it home, they're looking at their friends, especially when they become teenagers, they're looking for acceptance in their friends. And then if you don't have that identity in you, when you become of age, you start looking at outside the world, into the world.
Into sometimes dangerous
yes,
places.
Absolutely.
Especially in today's world, it seems that it's really become much more dark.
Absolutely.
In the world for young people.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know how to navigate through it.
Absolutely. So I think looking back on some of the things that I went through as a child and where I started looking for things in the world, I could see it all relating to the same thing. Just love, just want love. And there's no greater love than the Lord.
Yes, he's better at it than we are.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And her book, Ruby and the Treasure Within, is now in her hands. She has the hard copies, and the best place to buy a book is from the author, because they will do this wonderful thing. If I can find it now here, they will sign your book. We don't want to show who that's to, but they'll sign your book. She will also sign them to anybody you want to buy them for and mail them directly to that person. Christmas is coming. She's going to be able to gift wrap them for you and mail them directly to the people that you want to give a wonderful and special Christmas gift to. And I'm telling you, this is a special. You want to share the love of Christ with somebody that doesn't yet know or accept him as the leader in their life. This is a great way to do it. And one thing I want to say about Climbing Angel Publishing is I want to read for you our mission statement, which I wrote early on. Very simple. Climbing Angel Publishing exists for the purpose of sharing stories of hope and encouragement, aiding in the gathering together of community, and supporting the process of betterment. And all Climbing Angel Publishing books are available at your major bookstores, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Target, Walmart, all those places where you find your books, you will find Climbing Angel Publishing's books. And also now, Ruby and the Treasure Within, written by Tonya Celeste Hobbs. And you can put in your pre-orders online and they will be available November 1st. But again, I want to ask you, purchase it from the author herself. You can find her online. You can also write Climbing Angel Publishing at gmail.com. And we at Climbing Angel Publishing would be happy to get back to you and let you know how to contact Tonya. She's also available for interviews and newspaper articles, editorials, anything else, because she has a lot to say about the betterment of an individual and what they need. Certainly, she doesn't have it within herself to meet everybody's needs, but she can point you she can point you to where that source is. And her book, Ruby and the Treasure Within, does a lovely job at doing that. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today. And we don't have to wear masks. We can sit next to each other and talk all about these wonderful things. And again, support Tonya. Write to her. Get in touch with her. If you are in the community of Knoxville, you can certainly reach out and she'd be happy to get that book into your hands, or many books. So thank you for joining us, and we sure appreciate your support of Climbing Angel, and we'll see you around the next time with the next book.
Yes.
Thanks, Tonya.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.